Hello. This video will share information about completing your fieldwork for the three classes that are listed on the screen: EDU 350, EDU 360, and Sped 330. Some of the information may also apply if you're in another class that requires fieldwork. You may download, or you should download or grab this bit.ly address. You can pause and type in that bit.ly and it'll give you a resource page, or you can use the QR code to also access that resource page. The resource page has several hyperlinks that you'll need to access. So you need to please take time to do that first before watching the video. If you're brand new to Western this semester and you took EDU 250 or the equivalent of what the Discover Ed Intro to Ed class is at another location, maybe dual credit in high school, or maybe you took it at one of our community colleges or at another university, then you still need to attend an orientation here. If you're enrolled in EDU 250 right now at Western, you'll learn more about some of the things we're going to talk about at EDU 250 in your EDU 250 class. The orientation will happen during your class. But anyone that is brand new to Western this semester, please, on the resource page, look at the registration to attend one of the orientation sessions this semester, because you'll have to do that before you can do any field work for any class. You have an anthology account. If you're brand new to Western, you'll learn about that at the orientation. Everyone else has already created an anthology account at an orientation that you attended. If you have not yet put your background checks or your physical or TB or any of the other items that had to be done for field work, please get that done before you can get an assignment this semester for field. There is the actual things that have to be in anthology. Your physical has to be on a Department of Ed form. There is a TB test only if your healthcare provider indicated any risk factors. Otherwise, you don't have to have the TB test. You have to have a verified credential background check. That's the company we use, and it has to be that company. And then the CAN check, or the child registry, the child abuse and neglect form, also has to be uploaded in anthology before any field assignments can count. Between now and student teaching, you'll have to have gained 200 hours of field and put them into what's called the Kentucky Field Experience Tracking System. Some of those hours could be at elementary, middle, or high. It has to be across levels. So some classes may require you to go into one school or another. All those hours have to be logged before your student teaching semester. In EDU 350, you're required to do 5 hours. We'll do our best to get you those hours in maybe your content area or your grade level area. We can't promise that, but we'll do our best. In 360, you also do 5 hours. So if you're enrolled in both EDU 350 and 360, you don't have to go to 2 different schools. You'll only go to one school, and you can do all your hours at that school. So you'll do 10 hours if you're in both classes. If you're in Sped 330, it's a little bit different because you have to work alongside a special education teacher. So we will be assigning you to a special ed teacher that may be in a different grade level band than you're used to, but you have to complete 15 hours for that class. We'll do our best to get you in a school that you want to be in, but we can't promise any of those things. We'll just get you in a great school to learn, even if it's not the one that maybe you're hoping for. If you're a substitute teacher, people can become a sub. If you have 64 credit hours, a school district can hire you to serve as a substitute teacher. If you're interested in that, you can work with a school district. I know our local Warren County schools and Bowling Green City schools, they really want substitutes. And even if you can only work 1 day a week, I think it's a great way to gain experience, a little money. And you can also count it for field hours for 350 and 360. If you are a substitute teacher and you want to do that, there is an alternate request form linked on the resource page that I talked about at the beginning. You'll fill out that Google form by the deadline given on the resource page, and you'll notify us that that's how you want to do your field work this semester. If you work in a school, You know, as a paraprofessional, maybe you're an instructional assistant or that kind of thing. You can use those field hours. You'll complete an assignment form, a Google form, the same Google form as the substitute teachers. You'll fill out that alternate location form that is on the resource page, and you can count those hours for at least EDU 350 and 360. Sped 330, it'll depend on if you're working with a special ed teacher or not in your job. Are you enrolled in a clinical semester? Maybe you're also have another course that requires you to go in a school and you've already been assigned to a school. You may use that same school to gain your hours for 350 and 360. Now, again, 330 you will not unless it's working with a special ed teacher, but there is an alternate fieldwork form that you'll fill out by the deadline that's on that resource page, and that'll notify us not to get you an assignment. That'll say that you're working already in another school and you'll use the same thing for 350 and 360. If you're a BIS student, that's a Bachelor of Interdisciplinary Studies. If your major is Bachelor's in Interdisciplinary Studies, you will do an alternate assignment that your instructor will provide for you. And that means you do not have to do a fieldwork, traditional fieldwork of going in a school. But you will need to fill out the alternate assignment form or alternate assignment location, alternate location form, so that we know you're a BIS student and we don't get you a local placement. Please fill that form out that's linked to the resource page by the deadline. So if you want to go to an out of area, let's say that you do not want to do your hours here in Warren County or Bowling Green locally on the Bowling Green campus, you will fill out what's called an out of area placement request form, and that is linked on the resource page at the beginning. There is a deadline to do this in a few weeks, so you'll want to fill that out by that deadline. You'll fill it out, and then once you fill it out and you make sure everything's uploaded in anthologies such as your background checks and your physical and all of that, you'll get an email from our office, the Office of Professional Educator Services, and it will have a clearance letter. It'll have a letter that you will be able to take to any school or district outside of Warren County or Bowling Green City Schools. You take that letter to any other school outside of our local area here, and you will be able to make your own arrangements for 350, 360, and SPED 330, any of those classes. You cannot make those arrangements outside of here without that clearance letter from us, though. It won't count for your field work if you do it on your own. You have to have our clearance letter, and we have to make note that you're going where you're going. That means you're going to make your own arrangements, though. So our office will not make you a Bowling Green, Warren County. If you don't fill out that form, the out of area placement request form by the deadline that's linked on the resource, we will consider that you need a local placement and we'll make you one. So please be very mindful of that. Don't wait to do that. There is a deadline. Again, I mentioned that on the resource page for you to tell us, I'm going to do everything outside of Bowling Green and Warren County. I'm going to make my own arrangements. Then you fill out this form, you wait and get a clearance letter from us, and you'll be good to go. After the deadline, though, if we see that you have not filled that out, we're going to assume this person wants to stay here in Bowling Green and do their field hours, and we're going to make you an assignment for that. And once we make that assignment, we're not going to cancel it. So, please work on the deadline and fill this out right away and let us know you're going somewhere else. Otherwise, we're arranging at a local school, and then it becomes really messy trying to explain why you're not showing up. Same thing with alternate locations. So are you a substitute teacher? Do you work in a school as an instructional assistant or in some other role? Could be a bus monitor, whatever you do, that you can get access to a school. It has to be, if you work on a bus, you have to be able to go into that school district you work for and do some work in a classroom. But if you work in a school, you're a substitute teacher, or you're a BIS major, those are those Bachelor of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies, you're going to fill out that alternate location request form. Even the BIS majors, we want you to fill that form out to notify us. I'm a BIS major. I don't need a traditional fieldwork placement. My instructor is going to give me an alternate thing. But please do that by the deadline. And again, there's a deadline for that on the resource page. I guess I really wanted to bring home this point. Please make sure that you meet that deadline for us. So that's for the people that are going to do something different. The rest of you that are going to do a placement here in Warren County or Bowling Green City Schools, those placements after the deadline that we find out about people who are doing it out of area or people who are choosing because they work in a school or whatever the alternate location, once that deadline is up, we will start making the local placements. We'll look in Anthology, and if you have both your background checks and your physical and you've been to an orientation, we will send you an email from Anthology. It may say Chalk and Wire, but it'll also say Anthology Portfolio. You'll get an email on your Western Topper email that will give you a link to go to Anthology and look up where you're going to go. So it'll give you the name of the teacher, name and the address of the school and all of that. When you get that email, within a couple of days, go ahead and contact that assigned teacher. That it'll have an email of the teacher you need to contact. Please don't wait. The teacher has your name and is waiting for you to contact them. Please look at the school holidays, calendars and things. Please don't wait till the end of the semester. You might find that your placement has been canceled if you wait too long. You need to look at your calendar and start planning when you're going to do these field hours within a timely manner of getting the assignment. There is a field work form that your instructor will give you that you'll want to fill out each time you go to that school. The mentor teacher, whoever you're assigned to, signs off to verify you were there. So make sure you're using that form. That's the form that you give to your instructor to show that you did this. Then you also have to put the hours into KFETs. If they don't get put into the system, then it's student teaching. You can't student teach if you don't have those 200 hours logged. Please be mindful of that and start entering those hours early. We want to ask you to wear the polo shirt that you were given when you went to an orientation. You would have that semester received a red Western School of Teacher Ed shirt. You also had a badge. If you've lost your shirt or you want an additional one, we sell them at cost at $17. We have information about that in our office. The badges, please, I hope you haven't lost it, but if you have, you need to come by our office and get one of those made as well. The expectation is that you're going to remain very confidential. At orientation, you signed a confidentiality statement. So everything that you see and learn about the school or the students or the teachers that you're observing, remember your confidentiality that you and you have signed also an affidavit of non-disclosure. So be very mindful of that. Be on time. Don't be on your cell phone when you're there. Don't sit in a corner. Try to be active and show that mentor teacher that you're there to learn and offer your assistance if need be. You go dressed in some sort of dress pants with or slacks with the red shirt that we provided you and your teacher badge. Make sure you take your driver's license when you go to the school. Confidentiality, that's that reminder about the signed affidavit of non-disclosure that we have on file from your orientation. Just keep in mind you're seeing snapshots of things. Be very careful during class discussions not to name students or those kinds of things, but be very mindful of and respectful of the school that you visit. This is just a reminder, not about field work, but about the Praxis entrance test requirement, that Praxis core. It's the entrance exams that everyone is required to meet. There are 5 options in meeting that. You can see those here. You can use ACT scores if you meet those benchmarks that are listed, as well as a composite ACT score. Or you might have to take the Praxis case or core. It might be listed under case or core, but it is the entrance exam and the passing scores are there. You can do a combination of ACT and Praxis core or case. And then if you have a 3.0 or higher, when you take the praxis case, not the ACT, but the praxis case, and you fall within 5 points, you may also qualify for that. So don't put that off. The praxis is due early in your semester, the first few semesters, because you cannot get very far in the program without it. And you can't get admitted into the Educational Professional Standards Board without passing this. We do have free tutoring, I should have said, for the Praxis Core in our Literacy Center, and you'll want to use their free resources, which are listed on the resource page. After you pass the Praxis Core or the case, there are content exams that you need to also take that will happen as well. So you just don't want to delay on this core entrance exam. I mentioned the free praxis test prep. Those things are linked on the website, or excuse me, on the website as well as on the resource page. And there's also lots of grant funding that can help pay for that the Literacy Center will provide to you. And then after that, I mentioned after you pass the core praxis, before you get certified, you have to pass your Praxis 2 content exams and your PLT, Principles of Learning and Teaching. The PLT, we all suggest you take after you pass your Psych 310 class. The Psych 310 class is what prepares you for the PLT. But just keep in mind, these exams don't go away, so you don't want to ignore, you need to plan for those. Student teaching, we always ask you to apply to student teach 1 year before your expected date of student teaching. So if you're planning on student teaching in a fall semester, you'll apply by September 15th of the year before. If you're going to apply, you're hoping to student teach in a spring semester, you will apply by February 15th. So you'll want to make sure to look at the resource page and look at the student teaching website that we linked there. So thank you for your attention today, and please use the Google Forms that are linked on the resource page that we provided to you. Here's another reminder of that QR code and that bit.ly if you didn't grab it. You will want to fill out those forms within the next little bit, because there is a deadline for each, the out of area request form and the alternate location. If you're a sub, or you work in a school, or a BIS major, or you have another class that has field work, you'll want to fill out that alternate location form. That way we know who needs assignments and who doesn't. So good luck this semester. We hope that you enjoy your field work, and good luck to you.